I'm on a G-Day.
And I'm Louisa.
And this is On the Sofa with Sisu. And in this episode, we talk about tiny houses,
Vogue,
inclusive condoms,
Stormzy,
marathon running,
stubborn feedback.
and we end on our Mannies of the Week. Enjoy the show. Hello, hello, hello. And we're back. We're back.
We are back.
We're back, bitches.
Where have we been?
I don't know. Since the last episode.
We are back.
We're back. We're back.
With bang.
I've got a new hairdo.
Yeah.
Everyone.
We're back with bangs.
We're back with bangs. Oh my God. Bangs.
You can literally do bangs with that now.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It's all going off here. It's all going off.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't. Do you know what? Also, I realised we haven't done in a while the whole.
Oh.
We need to do the people today with the lights on in the studio. Like, just prepare yourselves. No. Yeah, it has to land at the right point. So I'm just gonna introduce it later on. So just have it ready to go, peeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting some visuals today.
Let's gong ourselves before we go any further.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do this properly this time.
Yeah, you got it.
Come on. Right.
Go on it.
3, 2, 1.
Deep breath. Oh, I lost it.
Same.
We lost it at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
Oh, God. Peeps, we're sorry. We didn't
Back in the room. It's because we're so excited.
Yes.
I think we're just vibrating excited
so much
energy.
Yeah, so much energy. Anyway, how was your week?
It was, yeah, I've had a good week. It's been nice. I had my mum's birthday to celebrate, which was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
We just went for a little breakfast. Caught up with my youngest brother as well. Haven't chatted to him for a while, Theo, which was nice. He's living his best life. And I am looking forward to my cousin's baby shower this weekend coming up. I'm really excited for that.
Oh, good.
She's having a Gemini baby.
Is she?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's what we need in the world, isn't it?
I know, watch out, people.
I need more Geminis. Wow, that's amazing.
I know, there's quite a few getting popped out. James and Steph are having a Gemini baby too.
Are they?
Possibly.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yeah, unless it's...
Are they having a boy or a girl? Do they know? Or they're just waiting for the surprise?
I don't think they know. Yeah, they're waiting for the surprise.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And how about you, doll? How's your week been?
My week has been packed, I'd say. Busy and booked and busy.
Booked and
busy, y'all. Went out for a lovely dinner with my mum, with my whole family actually, for my mum's birthday. Went to Le Bunc in Abbots, which was divine.
Le Bunc.
It's so nice in there.
Yeah, it is nice.
So
Food's
delish.
good.
So
Highly
delish.
recommend.
My actual family actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, which is saying something, people.
I know. They are hard to please, and they did enjoy it. The only thing my mum didn't enjoy was this salty spinach.
Oh, okay.
It was so funny. She ordered spinach and she said, please, can you make sure it's got no oil, no butter? Like she was on some sort of regime. I don't know, maybe she is. And they brought it out and she ate it and she was like, it's salty. And then the guy came back to the table and was like, oh, you didn't say you didn't want any salt.
Oh my God, I bet that pissed her off. That would piss me off, to be fair.
And she was
That's a bit
like,
smart ass.
I didn't say I didn't want salt. I just don't want to be drowned in it.
Go, Agnes.
It wasn't even that salty. So that was lovely. And then I've been doing a lot of planning with Turtle Bay around Mental Health Awareness Month, which is exciting. Yeah, and you're doing some yoga classes for us and some breathing and gonging, which can't wait.
Can't wait. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. And then what else have I done this week? I feel like I've just been trying to stay calm.
Got your hair did?
Oh, yeah, got my hair done. Yeah, got my hair did, which was 5 hours of my life that I will never get back. But honestly, at one point, my head felt like she was going to rip it off. Like my scalp, was really? On like, was like, you know when, well, they're pulling it. Well, you'll see when you get your hair done.
Can't wait.
It's a painful experience. It's quite a painful experience. But then it's quite like, it's painful, but yet still quite like relaxing at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like the pain kind of. Do you know?
Like a tattoo.
Yeah. Like, you know me, I love a bit of pain. Me.
Yeah.
And I also went to see this incredible show this week called Freedom, at the Opera House in Manchester with my friend Lucy. She took me as a little gift. It was so fun. I don't know much about Johannes from Strictly Come Dancing. Don't watch it, but Lucy's an avid fan, and she loves him. And he put on a one-man show, like a dance show, taking us through his whole entire life through music and dance.
That sounds very cool.
And obviously he's South African, so there's such a huge African influence in the music.
Yeah.
He talks about like him being gay and, you know, he was the person that made that kind of that step into Strictly Come Dancing, having same-sex couples.
Oh, okay.
I think he was the first. Don't quote me on that, but I think he was the first one to have a same-sex couple.
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the guy that he was coupled up with, James, I think his name was James, he was, he won, or maybe he was on Bake Off.
All programmes I don't watch, but sounds fun.
But the show is so like, it was super camp. It was so camp. It was so colourful. He changed like 15 times minimum. Amazing. He changed into loads of his outfits. Every time he came out, I was like, oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, I want that outfit. Oh my God, I want that. It was just such a cool...
Did you get any footage?
No, because you can't film when you're in the theatre.
Oh.
They literally are...
And they're so hot on you,
They are so hot. This woman next to us got her phone out, bless her, and this woman was sparked down and was like, no!
They literally appear out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you get your phone out and check a message or something, anything, like look at the bloody time, and they're all of a sudden they're literally on your shoulder, like, where the hell did you come from?
It's because they can see the light, isn't it?
No, but I mean, where did they actually come from? Like, the theatres are so packed out, you can barely move. How did they get there?
Honestly, love you, Lucy, and I really appreciate it, but I am not used to sitting up in the gods.
Oh, right.
Oh, my Lord. I've never sat that high before in the theatre. Actually, I have once with Sam and Kath. Sam bought tickets and cheap tickets, and we sat really high up, and I felt sick. But yeah, it was
like vertigo?
Just felt like I was so hot and clammy and squished.
Right.
I'm used to sitting in the stalls.
All right, babes. Privileged.
So privileged. It's because Sean always picks the best seats.
Oh, well, he is good.
He's good at that. So yeah, it was an incredible show. And do you know what I found super moving was him sharing his story about being gay, being African, and not really being able to be himself his whole career, and only of recent he's really found his voice. And I just found I found that whole thing really moving, and music that he danced to and stuff was like a cross between African and South African, and he played a few Nigerian songs, and it just felt really like, made me feel really like, what's the word? Lethargic?
Oh, nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
Hope you wasn't falling asleep.
No, nostalgic. Made me feel really nostalgic, which was really nice. So yeah, thanks,
Lovely.
Lucy.
How wholesome.
Yeah, really wholesome. Apart from the fact that, yes, their security guard was a dick.
Oh. Well, there's always something, isn't there?
Was a dick. He literally, I had my suitcase with me, and he was like, yeah, you can't bring your suitcase in here. And I was like, well, have you not got a cloakroom? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, can't you go and put it in your car? And I was like, don't have one. Your hotel? Not staying in a hotel. And they just stood there and stared for ages. And I was like, so can we go in? Can you not put it somewhere for us? And he was like, fine. And then he was like, but you can't go in until I've searched you. And we searched our bags. And then took us round the corner on the streets to search my suitcase. Made me open my suitcase up. And when I tell you, he may as well have smelt my underwear. He was literally rummaging around. Then he said to me, can you open your toilet bag for me, please? And I was like, what? I've had my suitcase searched before at like a bar or stuff, but they don't go into your fucking toilet bag. He was literally opening my toilet bag, taking everything out of it, shaking it around. And I actually went to him and went, sorry, just out of curiosity, what are you actually looking for? Like, what are you searching for? And he went, alcohol and drugs. But I went, but I'm not taking, I didn't say this, but I thought to myself, I'm not taking my suitcase into the show because you've told me I can't. So you're taking it to the back. So regardless if I've got alcohol or drugs in here.
Yeah, you can't use it.
I can't use it. And the depths of which you're searching is uncalled for. Lucy felt really uncomfortable and she said, I'm going to say something. I was like, just don't, because we need to go in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad that he searched it, because
It's the depth in which
health and safety, but
it's the depth
to a certain extent.
It's the depth of which he searched. Yeah. It was just a bit much.
Too much.
Like he was like, yeah, open that, and then he was like, he got my Aesop body lotion and staring at it like this.
Maybe he's fucked up in the past. Who knows?
Anyway, it made me feel really angry because I was just like, I hate feeling like I'm a fucking criminal and I'm about to go in somewhere. It puts down on your night, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does.
Faffing around for ages, like just let me in.
So anyway, that was my week. Yeah, in a nutshell.
That wasn't a nutshell, but all right.
In a nutshell. We'll actually go into our icebreaker. This is yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your icebreaker is yours.
Oh, if money and time were no object, what would you be doing right now? If money and time was no object, what would you be doing?
I'd be on some sort of remote island, sunning myself up, I think.
Yeah.
With a cocktail.
What cocktail? Pina colada.
Oh my God, a pina colada.
Oh,
although I can't really drink pina colada because obviously I'm lactose and it's got coconut milk in it. Oh no, what am I talking about?
Oh my God! I literally couldn't even say anything there.
Delete!
I'm going to wait for the penny to drop there.
I feel like I can't because I feel like I've had pina colada and it's made my stomach turn.
God, you turned into such a bimbo with your long hair.
That's a stereotype. What about you?
I'd be building myself a tiny house somewhere in the middle of a field. That's what I would do. I'd have bought some land and I'd be spending my time building a tiny house.
Why tiny?
I'm just obsessed with them. I love them. I just think they're so cool. Obviously, I quite like small spaces because I like to feel cosy and, confided. Is that the right word? Yeah.
Trapped.
I certainly don't like feeling trapped. That is the worst possible feeling for me, which is why recently I've been breaking free from everything. And so basically, I love the thought of constructing something from scratch that you can just make completely and utterly your own. I love interiors, as you know. I love to decorate. I love just styling the house up and whatever. So yeah, that's what I would do, and I feel like it would be such a good skill to have.
Yeah.
And if time
would you build it yourself?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'd build it because time and money is no object, so I can buy what I want, and I can spend all the time doing it. So that's why I would build myself a tiny house. I really want a tiny house. It's on my goals.
I feel like I would need a bigger house next door.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying I'm going to live in it.
Oh, what's the tiny house for?
What, weekend breaks?
No, I wouldn't come. I need big.
Babe, you're literally you're.
Oh, shut up! Honestly,
you are going wherever I
told you
go.
You had loose lips.
You're going wherever I go. If I build a tiny house for weekend breaks, you're going to be there in a bloody heartbeat. You know it.
I will, but I'll probably be breaking everything. You're probably having a go at me.
How tiny do you think this house is?
I don't know. When you say tiny house, I'm literally imagining like a caravan.
What is this, a school for ants?
Yeah, literally that.
No, I mean, I'm talking maybe 6, 7, 8 containers, like the big, massive ones, the 40-footers.
Oh, like container style.
Yeah.
Okay, I can be there. I'll be there.
Tiny house.
I'll be there. Cool.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Okay, should we move on to the word on the street?
What's the word on the street?
Word on the street. Word on the street.
Word on the street.
Word on the street. Word on the street. So my non-word of the street, because I know we're only meant to have one, but you know me, I can never do one.
What do you mean?
I've
seen you've put another one in there. Okay.
I've got 2 words on the street. My first one is actually not one that I saw. Obviously, the man on the ground found this and sent it to us. But I also saw it the other day on the tube, which is an advertisement for inclusive condoms by Rome.
Yeah, I saw it in person yesterday, actually.
Did
as well.
you? I was literally staring at it, and I was like, "How interesting that this is like 2023, and we've only just thought about having inclusive condoms."
I know, but aren't they cool?
But they are. I want to buy one.
Yeah, same. Gonna blow it up.
So basically, Rome is the name of the brand. They brought out a set, inclusive condoms. So condoms that are to different skin tones. So I could have a black condom, which, you know, wouldn't look like I had a carrier bag on me.
Is that what it looks like?
Well, no, but I don't know how else to describe it. I don't even know why I'm describing it. Oh my God, I feel so awkward.
Oh God, you got a heart. Jesus.
But I thought that it was interesting to see, and it just made me lol, and I was like,
I love it.
It's like, oh, here we go.
It's like the Crayola crayons.
The what?
The Crayola crayons. Do you remember I sent you the picture of the Crayola crayons in Hobbycraft? And they've done like all the different. They basically did a multi-pack of skin tone.
Oh
colours.
yeah.
And I just thought it was wicked.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like we should be doing that for anything that requires skin tone.
Yeah.
There should be a multi.
I actually want to take my hat off to Rome for being the. I don't know if they're the first ones, but for just like for doing it and doing it big, because obviously they've got the adverts on the underground.
Yeah, they're putting some money behind.
Yeah, they're trying to make an impact, and they're setting the right tone, which is actually their tagline.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, they're setting the right tone.
Great
so go
marketing.
you, Rome.
Yeah, go Rome.
I will be purchasing some Rome condoms very soon. Anyway, go on. You can go next.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to forgot what segment we were on then. Got so excited by the condoms. I've got a little article that is about the British Vogue editor Edward Innenfall, and basically for the May issue of Vogue, he has covered 5 disabled stars on the cover of Vogue. And I'm going to read a little bit of the article, actually. So it's titled Reframing Fashion. The edition focuses on 19 disabled people in total from fashion, sports and the arts.
So disabled people?
Yeah.
People with disabilities.
Oh, that's the BBC for you.
Yeah.
Fucking BBC.
People with disabilities, people. That's what it should put people first.
People first.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading like a robot. The magazine's cover stars include actress Selma Blair, who has multiple sclerosis, and model Ellie Goldstein, who has Down's syndrome. Enninful has said that he's learned so much from producing this issue. My tenure here at Vogue has always been about inclusivity and diversity, and people forget how hard it is for the disabled community. So basically, he has a disability himself. He has a visual and hearing impairments and a blood disorder. So I believe that this was quite important for him to do. And whilst I'm like super happy and everything that this is happening, and that the people have been put on the cover of Vogue that are representing different walks of life, I worry that these initiatives are moments. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's do an issue where we're going to have 19 people with disabilities in the magazine, cram it all into one, and then forget about it.
Yeah, it should be that they're incorporating it into their everyday rather than it being like, we're doing a special issue for people with disabilities. It's
that's what I mean. So it's always a bit of a like positive and a negative for me personally, because one, obviously it's raising awareness and it is inclusive and it is highlighting the right kind of direction, especially within fashion, because it's a shit show, to be honest.
It is.
But on the flip side of that, it has to be a continuous conversation. It can't just be like, oh, okay, we've done one issue and that's it. Like, I want to see it in all of the issues.
What would have been really cool for them to have done is gone, we've done this as the first issue, but this is actually our plan now to make sure this is integrated into all our issues, and this is how we're going to learn more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There was actually something at the end of the thing, at the end of the article, there was something he said, and I thought, I can't remember what it was now. Oh, that was it. Look, I meant it's an issue that got some media attention earlier this year when Victoria Jenkins appeared on BBC show Dragon's Den. Having become disabled in her 20s, Jenkins discovered there were very few fashionable clothes on the market for people like her. She founded her own brand, Unhidden, to cater for various disabilities. The journalist mentioned this to Eninful, and she said, "My own concerns as someone who has had inflammatory bowel disease for nearly 20 years and has had to resort to pyjamas and tracksuit bottoms during a flare-up or operation to feel comfortable." And he said, "I always have conversations with designers and it's something we'll carry on with. But I think the more you raise awareness of people, of what people go through, the more people will start thinking how they can become more inclusive." To me, that last bit is like, it's just a confirmation that they're not even starting of the journey.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, it's good to raise awareness and, you know, we'll have conversations about it, and then people will start to realise that being inclusive is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a very wet statement to make.
It is very wet statement, but also it's what drives me nuts about the fashion industry.
What exactly that they... I think the fashion industry, though's got so much work to do.
What I think about it really is that they are so contradictory all the time. The fashion industry is contradictory. They always say they want to do the right thing. They start these strategies and they start being like doing these sorts of things, you know, like a special issue at Vogue for people with disabilities, and then the conversation goes quiet and they don't actually do anything about it. All the fashion shows come out and they're always the same type of people yet again. And year on year, it's always the same.
Yeah, what I have found with fashion industry is that it's like a slow burner. Like they are...
A slow burner?
Yeah, they're literally like...
Very
they've
slow.
just started to do plus sizes. So like that for them is like a big thing. And so that's huge.
Exactly.
But actually it's not really, should have been something that you've done for forever, but whatever. And then now they're doing this people with disabilities is their new gimmick. And they'll be slowly burn and churn that away, and eventually we'll start to maybe see people with disabilities on the runway, but that will be like in 3 years' time, I feel.
And also, like, I'm not saying doubting that, but there's most likely people who have disabilities that aren't visual,
hidden, yeah.
that are hidden,
yeah, that
are walking the runways now, but that's not enough.
Yeah,
you know, for me, that's not enough representation.
Well, you need some more actual visible representation with visible disabilities, because there's a lot of people that then feel more seen.
Exactly.
If that happens, and that's not happening. There's a lot of things that are not happening in fashion, but we'll take it one step at a time.
That's all we can do.
Yeah,
peeps. That's
all we can do. It's very much on brand for this episode, which we'll come on to in a second. So my word on the street was I don't know about you peeps, but I love Stormzy. Like, Stormzy is my G, okay? He's made some mistakes. We've all made mistakes, so don't come for him. Everyone makes mistakes, but he also gives a lot back to the community. He does a lot of work. And one of his projects is called Murky Books. I don't know if anyone's heard of it before, but he's brought out he's leading on a book publishing company for diverse books, which obviously I'm all about. And so the head.
Maybe we could get our book published with Murky Books.
I did think that. I've actually tried to connect with a few people on LinkedIn from Murky Books.
Nice.
Stormzy's Murky Book Festival aims to inspire a new generation is the headline. So the storyteller enthusiasts has gathered people in Camden for the first Murky Books free 2-day literature festival that was been put together by Stormzy. Murky Books was launched in 2018 by the rapper and Penguin with an aim to develop and produce diverse storytellers. So they held this event headlined by Noughts and Crosses author Mallory Blackman, who, by the way, if you don't know who Mallory Blackman is, go and do your research. Incredible author. She is just, and she's got like a BBC documentary that talks all about her life and how she got into writing. It is so inspirational and so moving.
So wait, has this been and gone?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know, we missed it. The songwriter Wretch32 and author John Agard aimed to I can't say this word, demystify the creative industries and encourage a new generation of writers. And and the quote that I think that I loved the most in this article was, it's very posh, very white, very middle class. And for me personally, it just feels kind of like a world away from what I'm used to and what I've grown up with. And that is a quote from one of the organisers of the festival. I just thought, it's so true. Don't you look at like publishing? Generally, it's very white, it's very posh, it's very middle class.
Oh God!
And so people from diverse backgrounds struggle to get their books published or even seen or read by a publisher. So it's nice that he is doing something and opening doors for people that potentially would have had doors closed to them.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting article. I'm not going to read it all, but if you want to know more, definitely go and look out for Murky Books and follow them on Instagram. But I love to see things like this where people are they're opening doors for people, creating opportunities, and investing in the new generation.
Yes.
Like that's all
where it's at.
We've always been talking about that at CC. It's about how do we make sure that the future for the next generation is better than what it was for us, just like our parents did or should have done.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's always the goal.
Yeah, protection.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the word on the street for the week.
Nice.
Yes. So let's get into the
nice celebratory word on the street. That was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to end on it because it was quite a nice little.
Yeah, it's some good word on the street. There.
2 clicks there for the word on the street, peeps. Okay, so let's get into the E&I topic of the week. E&I topic of the week.
Okay.
Oh, so, peeps, we've got an announcement to make, haven't we?
We have.
Goodbye, my friends.
He doesn't know the words.
It's not the end. Oh.
So glad we made it.
Oh, that's it.
Just about.
Yeah. Oh,
by the skin of our teeth.
We have made it. This is actually our last episode of the season, isn't it?
Our last episode of the season.
So we thought that this week's E&I topic of the week is going to be about how E&I is not a sprint. It's a fucking marathon, people.
It is a marathon. Get your blimmin' blister packs out.
Blister packs out. Oh my God, that should be our tagline. This is a marathon. Get your fucking blister plasters out. Let's go.
Get those toe straps.
Yeah, so we thought we'd just talk about how this is a marathon, not a sprint. We don't have the magic wand, people. We don't. Like, I think, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I think a lot of people are obviously trying to do a lot of things in this space, and it is incredible to start to see. What I am struggling with is the idealization. I can't say that.
I can't say it now either. Bloody hell.
The idealization that if you get a DEI consultant to come in, they will come in, do a workshop, and your problems will be solved. And I think, I'm sorry to say, but you're living in a fantasy world, okay?
Yeah.
Because you have to come at this at a, let's start the journey. This journey is going to take us some time, and we may not fix the problem, but at least we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I'm starting to see a lot of, where people are starting to not really understand that this is longevity.
And you can't just tackle it from one angle.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh, okay, well, we'll have a workshop and then we'll be done with it and that's all right. And everything will be fixed and we won't have to do anything else and we don't have to worry about data and we don't have to worry about, how our people actually feel. It's from every angle. That's why it's called a strategy.
Yeah. And I also think that you can't, this is going to come out like wrong, but I'm going to say it as it comes to me. You cannot expect us to come in and you put all the pressure and the onus on us, because it's a that's why we always say it's about collaborating.
It's
Because
super collaborative.
it's not down to me to come in and tell you how to run your business or how to, and for me to then deliver a training and then for it to all be down to me to fix the problem or for us to fix the problem. It's down to all of us as a collective to go, let's do this together. Yeah. And there's no like, it's up to you to fix this problem. It's like, it's down to all of us.
Absolutely.
It's a group activity. Okay.
Yeah, and I think, particularly if you're going to hire in a third party such as Sisu, if you're going to hire a consultant, then you have to remember that consultants, they work with different industries, different brands, and everyone's problems and challenges are very, very unique to the brand. They are not same size fits all. Everyone has something different, and that's why the work has to be collaborative, because everywhere we go, we are tackling different issues and we are tackling different feelings and emotions within the business as a collective and individuals.
And different types of people as well that literally respond to it in such different ways. Like,
yeah, of course, that's a definite. And also just on the collaborative piece, sorry, before we move on, that's why we always say when someone says to us, whose job is it within the business to work on this? And then we say, it's everyone's job. Like, it's all departments. You need somebody from marketing, you need somebody from recruitment, you need somebody from HR and the people team, and wherever. It's got to be a gold thread running through the flesh of your business. A gold vein.
A gold thread running through the flesh of your business. That should be another one of our taglines. Sisu, a gold thread running through the flesh of your business. We're here for one more day, peeps. One more day. I think it's so true, and I think that's why, like, when we come and talk to, like, for instance, I had a client meeting this afternoon even, and I've started to have to make it really clear that we are not about coming in and doing something for a moment. It's about coming in and doing something for a lifetime. Yeah. And it's about collaborating, because I think, like, someone asked me the other day, and they were like, so if we do like the foundation workshop, do you think that'll be it? Yeah. Or do you think we need to do that, every 6 months? And I was like, no, I think you're kind of not really understanding how this works. The foundation workshop is a great thing to do, and yes, you should probably do a refresher course of it, but there's also so much more that you need to learn, but you need to learn that from talking to your people. Yeah. And you need to use the data to drive your decisions, and you need to do so much more than just doing one workshop. Yeah. And you need to understand how you can move the dial in your business because you tell us how you think that can be done. We can't come in and tell you how that can be done, because every business is so different. We can merely suggest things, and we can merely steer you in the right direction and support you along the journey.
And all suggestions come off of the information that's given. So as long as that is, tenfold, then we can make the best the suggestions for you.
Yeah, so that's similar to how our training workshops work. It's good to talk about it because, we call ourselves a creative brand who like to bespoke our training. It doesn't just come off the shelf and we just plug it in. No. We like to go into a brand and go, right, actually, how do you train currently? What's training look like for you? What are the stuff that you're seeing within your business that are coming up time and time again? So, like, give us some scenarios, give us some situations that we can use as examples, that we can use to then educate and train and give people the tools on how to deal with those scenarios if it was to come up again. Yeah. But it's like, we need to understand your business entirely.
Yeah, and that's why we have the first port of call for us is to have the exploratory telephone calls and the discovery meetings ahead of us giving you any suggestions, really, because that's how we know what to provide.
I think people, I guess from seeing it from the client perspective, is that people don't also know what to say. I feel like people get a bit awkward. Like,
I think there's still a lot of people in panic mode.
Yeah.
And that's why this, like, can we do this workshop and then this will basically solve all of our problems. I think it's because people are still, a lot of brands are still in that panic mode of wanting to do something but not knowing what to do.
Yeah, I guess it's like they know they need to do something, but they don't know what. So they just go, just whatever you think is best. But
that's just why it's so imperative to bring your people into the conversation.
Yeah,
like it is mandatory.
It's mandatory. Well, it is, because I think if you do, especially if you're like a leader of a business and you're doing it from an aerial perspective, like you're looking at the business from the top down, and you're like, well, this is what we think, but actually you don't understand what they think and what the bottom people think and the middle people and everyone else, then you're going to come at it from the wrong angle.
Yeah.
And that's quite difficult, I guess, for brands to know how to have that conversation. So, for instance, we always say to the clients, like, it's really important that you decide on what your statement per se is to your, like, what are you going out to the business to say, this is why we're doing this work, this is why it's important to us, these are our values, this is what we are aligning ourselves to, and this is then what potentially we're going to be looking at doing, and this is why we're doing that as well. Because otherwise there's no groundwork before we come in and do a workshop.
A bit baffling.
People just sit there and they're just like,
yeah, it's a bit baffling.
Yeah.
And you know, if you are going third party and you are hiring consultancy, that agency, consultancy, whatever you want to call it, they should be helping you with that.
Yeah.
You know, like we will always put together a graphic, put together an explanation of the any workshops that we may be running with you, introduce ourselves ahead of the workshop, and make sure that you have, you know, that the brand itself are sending out comms to get people engaged ahead of any educational pieces.
Yeah, it's really important. I think that groundwork is laid, otherwise it falls to death's ear, and you don't want that, because it just becomes a waste of money. And it's also quite disheartening for us as well, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
When you do training and then you realise that the groundwork hasn't been laid, so you're just standing there talking to a room and people aren't really responding.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a bit like, oh God.
Yeah.
It's daunting, to be honest. It's quite daunting.
It is daunting. It is demoralising, because at the end of the day, you know, we personally are doing this work because we're passionate about it, because we want to see change, because we want to make change, because we want to, you know, enhance positivity and positive direction and culture. And, you know, when you get faced with, I don't know, a room that's maybe not so engaging because they don't really understand why they're there, because it hasn't been communicated by the business, it is quite disheartening, because what we want to land isn't going to land well.
Yeah. It's a marathon, people. It's a marathon. And I mean, what I also wanted to talk about is like how the sessions are pulled together. Like, you know, we build sessions and we use theory, we use data, we use creativity to bring the sessions to life. And so I feel like sometimes when we're standing up with our session plans and people are like, why are they reading from a script?
Oh, I know.
And someone asked me once, I don't know who it was, someone asked me once and was like, are you reading from a script? And I was like, I'm not reading from a script, but I have got a piece of paper where I've got my notes on it, because I need to make sure that what I say lands and I say it the right way.
Absolutely.
There's bits inside our sessions where I can go off on a tangent and it's great because it makes it more real, but there's bits that has to land with the right wording and the right way for it to make sense. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so that we do have session plans that we write.
Yeah.
And that we use as our...
I think that's one thing people need to remember. It's still ours. It's still us, our voices. It's still what we created that. We put that together. That's still Sisu voice. It's
still our voice.
Yeah. Yeah, and because everything is so tailored and bespoke to each individual client brand, everything is very different. As Olajide mentioned earlier, nothing's off the shelf. So, you know, it's easier to have it all in front of us for each individual brand and client, so that we make sure it lands well, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. And like for us, it's like we realise that, I don't know, like there's so much to like learn. There's so much to learn. And I will hold my hand up to say that I don't know everything about everything. So sometimes I need to make sure I have something in front of me, so I make sure I say the right thing. So when I've gone and do, because we do so much research. We read so much stuff. Like, so much stuff. We have to keep up to date with the news. We have to keep up to date with what's going on in the law changes, in politics, in working environments. It's literally so much information that's currently like logged in this head.
Yeah.
So then when you go in front of people, you don't want to just like say the wrong thing. Not even just say the wrong thing, but say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and get everything sort of arse about tit.
Arse about tit.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
I've never heard that before.
Arse about tit.
What does that mean?
All over the place.
Arse about tit.
That's quite a common one.
Never heard it. Has anyone in there heard it? Yeah.
Even Jessie has.
Has Jessie heard it?
That was Jessie.
Oh, I thought that was James. Got very deep there. Anyway, so what we're saying here, peeps, the society, is we want people to understand that you can't do this in a hot minute.
No.
You can't. And if you really want to do it properly, you want to make sure that it's embedded into your everyday.
Yeah.
And so that takes time. That takes culture shift. That takes leadership mentality shift. That takes months of workshops, surveying, checking in, listening, adapting. Mm-hmm. And so that does not happen in 2 hours.
You can't clean up a hot mess in a hot minute.
Oh, I love that. You were coming out with all these lines today.
This is philosophical.
Yeah, so... Sorry?
I just caught the wrinkles on the screen. Bloody hell. Not looking.
Anyway, and so that really led us into obviously announcing that this is our last episode for this season. We are deciding that we're going to take a bit of a break.
A sabbatical.
A sabbatical. We're taking a sabbatical. It's been swell, peeps. No, we've decided that, this first season has all been about getting to know Louisa and I, getting to know Sisu, getting to know our business, chatting about Bear Breeze. And season 2 is going to be a bit different.
It is going to be a bit different. Watch this space.
Watch this space, peeps. Season 2 is going to be lit. Oh my God, where's the lights? Oh my God, you were so not on cue. Jesus Christ in there. Come on, people. So season 2 is going to be a bit different. We haven't got a date yet, have we?
No, we haven't got a set date, but it's coming soon. Not too long, don't worry about that.
Yeah, not too long. So
just keep your eyes on the socials.
Keep your eyes peeled on our socials. And please keep your questions coming in. Like if you want
100%.
Yeah, we want to know more about you. So send your questions in, your stories, your situationships. Send them in. We want to know. And also, if you think that anyone should be on this show with us, yeah, let us know. It could be interesting, couldn't it?
Well, it could be interesting.
Could be interesting. Anyway, before we give it all away, let's get into the questions from the C Society.
Questions.
So, first question. How do you handle stubborn feedback that may come from a negative place without allowing it to affect your motivation and confidence and dim the light you're shining on the right thing to do? Oh, sister, that is a tough question.
Yes, that is.
That is hard.
But I tell you what, right? I had a recent experience where this situation occurred. And I was giving a workshop on confidence, and there was a person in the room whom kind of pushed back on some of the content that I was delivering, off the basis that the audience were all confident people. And it did kind of rock me a little bit, because I thought, do you know what? I've spent a lot of time putting this together, and now you're basically telling me that I've wasted my fucking time in front of 50 people.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not cool. So I let her just, you know, have her moment, and she wanted to tell me what was what. And then I kind of just put it back to her, and I was like, look, that might be how you feel, but each and every individual is unique, and there is not a single person in this room, as we've already established with a show of hands, that hasn't had a day where they felt underconfident. There's been one day at least for every single person in this room. So I think I've also had it actually in a workshop that was about racism, and a person said that racism didn't exist. Literally, like that.
Mic drop.
Racism does not exist. And I was just, first I had to kind of like pick my jaw up.
Yeah.
And then I just said to him, I was like, well, you know, fortunately for you, you're privileged, and racism might not exist in your world, but for many other people, it very much exists. So we are going to continue with the content that is being delivered, and you can take from it what you will.
Yeah.
And I think that's always it. You kind of have to like just pick yourself up quite quickly, and actually then just like push it back onto the person.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think, I mean, I have been faced with a lot of feedback in my time. Some welcomed, some unwelcomed, some taken on board, and some given the middle finger. And I think you have to, I always, well, I can only speak for myself, and this is what I would say, is that I think you have to take all feedback with a pinch of salt. Take a second to go, actually, could that be useful for me in my growth or in my plan or my strategy? And if you think it is, then take it on board. And if you're not sure, ask someone else. Get someone else's feedback as well, because I always feel like sometimes I've got feedback where I'm like, no, sister, that is not true. And then someone else has gone, yeah, I would probably agree with that. So, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I need to check myself.
Taken on board.
Yeah, taken on board. So I feel like sometimes you have to just take it all with a pinch of salt, check to see who else is feeling that way or may not feel that way, and then go from there. I also think you have to be thick-skinned in this world, like you do. Yeah. You do have to be thick-skinned in this. I'm talking about the DEI space. You have to be thick-skinned because you will hear comments that you don't want to hear. You will have to deal with negative feedback. You will have to deal with people that just don't like the way that you come across.
Yeah.
And you will get people that will basically want to pull you down.
Want to oppose.
Yeah, and want to oppose all the time. And it's happened to us so many times. And you have to have your allies. You have to have your some way of looking after your own mental health and well-being afterwards. And you have to be thick-skinned.
Yeah, you do.
Because that's the only way you get through it. And there's been moments where I've had the feedback and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I fucking quit.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, I quit.
I'm unsubscribing.
I'm unsubscribing because everyone just wants to fucking have a go. And I'm just like, I'm not here for it. But then...
Do you know what I always think about that, though? I just always think that means that I'm doing something right.
Well, if people are wanting to oppose and people are wanting to pull you down, that means, yeah, you are doing something right.
Yeah.
I love it because I think there is actually there's an Oprah quote that says something, or it's either Oprah or Maya Angelou. It's one of the two that talks about how if, it's always when you're on the rise that people decide that they want to then start pulling you down.
100.
And that means you're doing something right.
100.
Yeah. So...
yeah.
You keep on pulling us down, but we'll keep on rising.
Yeah.
Like
we
a
got
phoenix.
Fuel in our boots, mate.
Like a phoenix. Woohoo! I hope that helped. I hope that helped with your question. I think, I hope that helped. I'm going to move on to the next one. If you already call your team family, so this is based on our last episode, which was all about family versus community. If you already have called your team family, do you make an announcement and change it? And how would you go about doing that?
I feel like making an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You are no longer family.
It's probably worse.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like the whole like announcement thing is probably a bit much. I think that it could be a gradual process.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, just slowly but surely
Take
changing
it out.
words, slipping in community, putting it in your comms, putting it in your, I don't know, your emails, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like I agree. Like, I think it's not one that needs announcing. It's one that you gradually like get rid of.
Yeah.
And I actually have been doing that a bit at the moment with Turtle Bay, because we do use the word family a lot.
Your Turtle Bay family, I know.
It's family.
I got welcomed into the Turtle Bay family.
Yeah, we use it a lot at Turtle Bay, and I was like, And so recently I've been like putting in emails, I'm like community, or I'm just saying team, or you just have to slowly, like, what's it called when you phase it out? You have to slowly phase it out slowly. But I also feel like when you do phase it out, it's important that the leaders of the business understand that they're phasing it, that everyone's phasing it out.
Yeah, and why?
And why you're doing it, because otherwise, if you're just doing it on your own and no one else is, it's not going to phase.
So if you need to suggest all your leaders listen to
episode number
on
13.
the Sofa with Sisu, episode 13.
Yeah,
family versus community.
And this is not a question, but I love this. The other day, I was with one of our avid listeners, and they had said that they had listened to one of the episodes because they asked a question in one of the episodes, and the question was around how do they deal with leaders of the business. It was very male-driven business, and they had a lot of Muslims.
Yes,
and they contacted us and said that they had taken the advice on board, and they had started to make some improvements and some changes within their business.
Oh.
And I was like, this is why we do it. We do it for that. We do it for change.
I am actually feeling emotion. That's really nice.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We do it for change. That's why we did this podcast. Like, there's been, I'll be honest.
I need to use the dishcloth.
There's been moments in this podcast where we've gone, I don't know why we're doing this. What's the point? But it was the whole point of the podcast was to be able to share our experience and our knowledge and our ideas, and hopefully help people in their working environment, whether that's people that are leaders of business or people that are on the ground or front line.
Yeah.
It's just helping people.
Yeah.
Because obviously what we do is very business orientated, but actually if you're in the business and you can make change within your business yourself, then let's give you the power to do that.
Yeah.
We want to empower you to go out and
Yes.
fucking make change.
Hallelujah.
We want more people in our society becoming disruptors and becoming change makers and moving the dial for the whole society.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing it home. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd share that. I thought that was a really nice little message.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And please do share with us via the WhatsAppy.
Yeah.
If you've listened to this and you've taken on some of the advice, or if you've listened to it and you've taken the advice and it didn't work out, let us know. Yeah. Because it's good to know where things didn't work out, because we'll give you some other advice maybe. Yeah. But yeah, just let us just communicate with us, peeps.
We love it.
We desperately want to hear from you.
Oh my gosh. You're sounding like me when I asked Maisie for a hug.
Oh, right, we're coming to the end. Oh, so we've come to the end of the road. Okay.
Lovely.
Manny of the week.
Manny
The
of
last
the
time,
week.
season 1.
So, my Manny of the week was, I bloody shut my laptop down. What's my Manny?
Balance.
That's it. So, basically, my Manny for the week is balancing friendship with business.
Friendship, business, R&R days.
R&R days. Because, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you some background. This is not like a woe is me kind of moment, but sometimes Ology Day and I, we get so bogged down with our business and Sisu that we forget to be friends, because all we do is talk about work.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? Jo told me the other day, my boss, she went, you probably need to be friends, you and Louisa. Like, I bet you two just don't even have time to be friends anymore.
No.
And I was like, no. I can't remember the last time I actually asked her how she actually was. Apart from on the podcast.
On the podcast. Sweet bean.
Sweet bean.
So that's my Manny, not just for the week, but for till the end of time.
Till the end of time. She's going to be balancing friends, colleagues, and R&R days.
R&R days, babes.
R&R days.
I'm doing your eyebrows for you soon.
Oh my God, yes. Can you do them before the wedding?
Yes.
Okay, mate. So mine is actually quite similar to yours, which is make more time for my loved ones, because it cannot all be about work all the time. And I'm feeling like the people around me are saying the same thing, which is like you are becoming a bit of a workaholic. But my caveat is that, you know, fucking setting up your own business in the 21st century with a cost of living crisis, come for me. Yeah? Okay? Come for me. Things are expensive. Okay? They're so expensive. I bought a coffee today.
I knew you were going to say it.
I bought a coffee today for £4.80. Okay? I didn't even drink it because it was shit.
Stop buying coffees, because all you've been doing is moaning about the price of them.
I know, it's fucking killing my bank balance as well. It's because I don't like working from home, so I like to go to like a bougie coffee shop and work.
Just ask for some hot water and pull one of your herbals out.
Did you know the Vic's not doing the workspace anymore?
Oh, he obviously wasn't making enough.
I know. Gutted. Where am I going to go?
No, that's rubbish.
Anyway, I digress. But yes, I feel like, you know, life is too short to not spend time with the people that make you, bring you joy, that make you smile.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make more of an effort to try and make time for things, and not be such a recluse.
Same here.
Yeah. My hands are clammy. I'm so sweaty.
Okay.
Anyway, that is it, peeps.
Lovely. Okay. It's been a mosh.
It's been a mosh. What a season.
We'll be back in a few.
We've been on a roller coaster, Pete, but stay brave. Stay curious.
And stay honest.